is Pop Culture Yearbook. On this show, we pick pieces of pop culture that were important to us in a given year. We will then discuss our memories and dig into those movies, albums, shows, and more. Happy holidays. I'm Brad.
I'm Pete.
And I'm Gif.
And we are doing a special month yet again here, kind of. We're doing, you know how they take songs sometimes and they put them together and they call them a mashup?
Yeah.
Well, that's what we're doing here in December.
Kind of a fusion
That's a
thing.
great idea.
Yeah.
So we wanted to do Christmas stuff because we are all Christmas people.
God, we love
And
Christmas.
it's the holiday. But because we had already done our vacation series and our scary movies series, we wanted to kind of stick to our format too. So what we did is we're doing a mashup of Christmas topics with the year of 2003.
Beauty year.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to kind of change the format slightly while sticking to what we do best.
Yeah,
That's
But
how
we
I
are
describe it.
We're starting a new month, so you know what we're going to do?
Yes,
What are we
Pete,
doing,
let's hear
Pete?
it.
We're going to open the package.
Ooh. Are there all kinds
very-
of goodies in there?
A very special package.
Yes.
Is it a large
Remember,
package?
good things come in small packages. I'll just
That
say
is
that.
true.
Keep telling your wife that.
All right, so just a quick, we are going to do a really quick overview. So tonight we're going to be doing a Christmas music playlist because we're all big fans of Christmas music, and we'll get in a second. We'll get into our format and get into our that we're very happy to share this episode with a fellow podcast and shout them out. So we'll get into that in a second. But after tonight, we are going to. The reason why we picked 2003. Gifford, how about you share why?
Well, because we're kind of doing a mashup fusion thing with the holiday season, two of the big things that we would pick from 2003 have to do with Christmas anyway.
Correct.
So one of those is a movie that is near and dear to my heart, and that is Love Actually. And
never
which
seen
is obviously a Christmas theme. And Pete, why don't you tell us what the other topic will be for another week?
Oh, it's a family tradition for us. Every year we have to watch the movie Elf.
Mhm.
Love the movie.
And those
Yeah.
two movies, turns out, came out on the same day in 2003.
Is that right?
And not only that, it was November 7th, which is my wife's birthday.
Wow.
She is a big fan of both, and we just love Love Actually in this house.
Yeah.
I bet you
course we
do.
But then our final episode will come out after Christmas, in the week between Christmas and New Year's. And so we will get into other 2003 stuff during that episode. We'll talk about our favorite movies, music, TV shows, and whatnot of
And
that
more.
year. We'll just throw it all in one big smorgasbord
Yep.
in that last one. So that's how we came to our plan for this month.
Wonderful.
All right, so tonight we are going to be borrowing a format from my favorite podcast.
Other than this one.
Outside of this one, of course. Right, and that podcast is called Playlist Wars. And I love my music, and these guys do a great job. And so the format that they use on their podcast is that there's two guys, Brian and Gomez, who run it, but then they always have a guest on.
God.
All good
And
podcasts have
have
at least
Brian's.
one Brian. Yeah.
There you go. And what they do is whatever their topic is, they'll usually have a band, but sometimes it's a more general topic. And each of them picks a 10-song playlist that they prefer, that they love about that band. And then on their show, they then have their listeners go in and vote on who got the best one. And so that's where the wars part comes in. And it's because we love this podcast and we love music, we asked them if we could borrow their format for our episode tonight, and that is what we're going to do.
So you could say we're having a war on Christmas music.
Oh,
Wow. That's something.
Controversy.
And just to throw it out there, so not only do we love this podcast and appreciate their collaboration here, but early next year, I mentioned they have a guest on their show. I get to be their guest for a special Foo Fighters episode, and I don't think I can wait.
Wow.
I don't think I can wait until we do that one. It's going to be one of the highlights of my life when we do that. So
I thought our show, it's like you're cheating on me and Gifford here.
I know.
It's like you're stepping out on us, and it's one of the highlights of your life.
I'll allow it.
All right. It's an open podcast we have.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. An open podcast. So to further our collaboration and to give them a little more time here, we asked them if they would share whatever they wanted to, if they wanted to make a playlist and share it quick or something else. And so Brian Colburn of the podcast Playlist Wars has sent us a list of some songs that he likes, and he went about it in his own unique way, as he always does, by picking some different categories. And so we are going to play that for you right now.
He's got a fantastic voice, by the way.
Made for podcasting.
Yes, way better than any of us.
All right, so let's listen in and enjoy his choices.
What's up, Pop Culture Yearbook? This is Brian Colburn here from Playlist Wars. Thank you so much for asking me to chime in on your holiday episode. We certainly appreciate you guys reaching out, and I'm happy to come on and be a part of this. We're doing an episode of Playlist Wars this month called Non-Traditional Christmas Songs, and it's a battle where myself, Gomez, and our friend from high school, Chris Hartman, he is also part of the Film Exiles podcast, are going to pick our favorite non-traditional Christmas songs. But from what I'm doing here is I've put together a list of 3 different Christmas songs for you, and I'm spreading them out amongst 3 different categories: traditional, non-traditional, and novelty. Traditional are the classics, the oldies, the songs from the 50s and 60s that have become timeless across generations. The first one I'm going to go with for my traditional pick is the chairman of the board, Frank Sinatra, the Christmas song, Merry Christmas to You, or known to others as Chestnuts Roasting on an Open Fire. You cannot have a traditional Christmas list without Frank Sinatra. His voice is timeless. This song is timeless. And there's been thousands of versions done throughout the decades. And this one is one that always puts a smile on my face and really puts me in the spirit of the holidays. Now, as far as non-traditional Christmas songs go, I have to go with the one and only Christmas in Hollis by the legendary Run DMC. The song was featured on the 1987 compilation, A Very Special Christmas. I remember getting the cassette that year, and it instantly became my favorite Christmas album of all time. It still is. I now own it on vinyl and CD. Sadly, the cassette was worn to snapping. However, this to me is one of the greatest Christmas songs of all time, and personally is a traditional Christmas song, because most stations, wrongly, did not play this song alongside of the Bing Crosbys, the Frank Sinatras, and the Nat King Coles, and it kind of slid under non-traditional back in the day. But make no mistake about it, because it grew up in my life for so long, it is a traditional Christmas song to me. However, to some, it might be seen as non-traditional, so for the sake of argument, I'm going to slide it into that category. But as far as I'm concerned, it's one of the greatest Christmas songs of all time. Finally, novelty. You can go in any direction here. You can go as far back as Alvin and the Chipmunks, but I'm going to go something a little newer here. And I'm going to go with a nerdcore music performer and video producer called Rappy McRapperson. And he put out a song called Gimme Stuff in the 2000s. And the song can be found on a compilation called It's a Red Peters Christmas Volume 1. Now, I first heard this song on XM radio back when XM and Sirius were split apart. They had a station called Special Xmas, which was dedicated to obscure comedy and novelty Christmas songs. And let me tell you, I listened to that station for hours on end, just taking in all these weird, strange Christmas songs. It was a lot of fun. I wish they kept that station going every year, even through Sirius, because hearing some of these novelty songs, they just make you laugh. Some of them are silly. Some of them are fun. Some of them are just random. And that kind of plays well into my musical tastes. Now, this song is definitely nerdcore rap at its finest. It's fun. It puts a smile on your face, and it's definitely memorable. So that is my novelty pick. So once again, Frank Sinatra, the Christmas song, Merry Christmas to You, Christmas in Hollis by Run DMC, and Gimme Stuff by Rappy McRapperson. I thank you guys for reaching out to us and having me be a part of this episode. I wish you guys all happy holidays, no matter what you celebrate. And for those that are listening, if you want to check out Playlist Wars, we would certainly appreciate you popping over and listening to some of the stuff we've got going on. You can find us at playlistwarspodcast.com. Thank you guys and have a happy holidays. Peace.
All right. So thank you, Brian and Gomez, too, for, again, letting us use your format, but also for sending us that file that we could play. Great choices, of course. The Christmas song is, of course, one of the most classic ones. We'll find out if that made our lists here in a second. Anything you guys want to say about Frank Sinatra or the Christmas song?
Well, you can't argue with Frank Sinatra at all. I mean, it's the greatest, like he said, the chairman of the board, and it's probably the greatest Christmas song of all time too. It's right up there, and you just cannot argue with that. I had not heard of Christmas in Hollis.
Oh, hang on, we're not there yet.
Oh,
we're not done with the chairman of the board.
All right,
I will say I do love Frank Sinatra, but for me, I always lump him into the Rat Pack. My favorite is Dean Martin. And he will make my list, you will see here. But Dean Martin, Sammy Davis, Frank Sinatra, all together. Actually, they have a great Christmas with the Rat Pack album is one of my favorite ones to listen to every single year. So,
sure,
great choice. Pete, what was his second choice there?
Christmas in Hollis.
Yeah,
which I had not. I guess I vaguely remember it from the movie Die Hard, but I hadn't listened to it just directly until this came out, and it's fantastic. It's fun. He's right. Why is this not played alongside all the other great Christmas movies or Christmas songs? I don't know.
Well, I think you hear it more and more now, but yeah, it's I guess you guys were less familiar. I'm not know the words over and over again in my head like some of the other Christmas songs, but I'm very familiar with the song besides Die Hard just by listening to lots of Christmas music throughout the years. But I think we all enjoyed Run DMC back at that time as well. So
yeah.
And then I have never heard of Rappy McRapperson. That was a unique choice there.
Didn't see that one coming.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming. I'd never heard it before, but I'm very glad that he included it. Thank you, Brian, for introducing me to that wonderful song. As he put it, nerd rap, I think. And I think because I liked it, that must reinforce my thoughts of being a nerd. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. I like that one.
When it comes to novelty songs like that, a lot of them I don't like. I'm not going to be a fan of Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer, but this Gimme stuff, pretty catchy actually. So I would recommend checking it out.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fun little ditty.
Right.
All right. So anyway, that anything else to add there, guys?
I don't think so. Other than
it.
Thanks again for sending that over, Brian.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yes.
All right. So throughout the night, we will be giving credit to and shouting out Playlist Wars. Go check them out. They got a website. They're on Twitter. They also have a Patreon, which I have myself joined, and you get early episodes. And I've listened to episodes that nobody else has. So it actually turns out pretty cool. We should think about doing that, guys, huh?
Maybe.
We should.
Maybe. Maybe in the new year.
Ooh. We could actually share video coverage of our podcast because this one would be exciting because you'd be able to see the shirt that Brad is wearing tonight. I do want to comment on that.
Oh, yes. I'm in the
before we
spirit.
get started. So Brad has a Chicago Blackhawks Clark Griswold jersey as worn in the movie Christmas Vacation, and he's wearing it tonight.
It was
well done.
We have a spirit week at school right now, and it was character day today. And it was either wear my new onesie that I just got of the Bumble from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, which I wasn't very comfortable wearing to school.
It's made from real aardvark fur.
Real aardvark fur. Or go as Clark Griswold, which I would never hesitate to do. So thanks for noticing, Pete.
Hey, Brad, did you check your shitter today?
Yeah, it's very full.
Okay.
Well done.
All right, so the format is as follows. We will go around and share our list track by track. So we will each share our track 1, why we picked it, talk about it. If anybody else has that song, even if it's a different version of it, but if that song is on their list somewhere else, we will chime in and talk about it at that time so as not to repeat later. And then one other wrinkle that we'll borrow from their show too is that you have an honorable mention song at the end, which is a song that, not one that you just barely missed putting on your list, but that one of the other people has picked that you did not put on your original 10. But as they say it, you're like, I want that one too. So throughout the show here, guys, be ready to or be paying attention to which ones you might want on your honorable mention.
Sounds good.
All right, so let's kick it off with track 1. And Gifford, I think we're going to have you go first.
All right.
I'd lead off.
Excellent. So I picked a song that I think is a great kickoff to not only a Christmas playlist, but the Christmas season. It's 1963's It's The Most Wonderful Time of the Year by Andy Williams. So this came off of his very first Christmas album. Oddly enough, White Christmas off of that album was the one used for the promo single. But since Billboard started a Hot 100 for the holidays, it has reached number 5 as early as 2020 holiday season on the charts. So It's the Most Wonderful Time of the Year is a great way to start off my playlist.
That is a great choice.
It is a great choice. And can I just say one thing about that song? I cannot possibly think about that song without thinking of
Robert Goulet
throwing up.
Right?
I don't think he was Robert Goulet in that one. I think
yes, he was. Wasn't he?
Was he?
Or was he just like a random guy?
It was a different skit. It was a different guy, but he's spinning around on that thing that's rotating, and then he winds up throwing up at the end.
I am so sorry I interrupted you. I knew exactly what you were going to say right there.
yes.
I think it is Robert Goulet, actually. Either that or he did him in a different sketch.
He did him in a different skit, but I don't think he was supposed to be Robert Goulet in this particular skit.
I'm sorry. So I take it you did not have that on your list, Pete?
I did not. Not on my final top 10.
I did not either, although it is one of my next choices that I had to cut out. So great choice, Giff, and a great starter. Pete, what's your track 1?
My track 1 is, I'm guessing that it's going to be a song that neither of you have, and certainly not the artist. In fact, the version of it, if you go out on YouTube, it's one that came around Facebook maybe 3 or 4 years ago. It's the most beautiful song that I've ever heard. And when you listen to it, I guarantee you it will make you cry if you haven't already listened to it.
Wow.
It is, yes, Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah, as sung by Kaylee Rogers. If you're familiar with this YouTube track, you know what I'm talking about. Kaylee Rogers was an autistic student at a special needs school, and she gave this performance, and she had difficulty socializing and everything like that. But when she went out on stage, it was absolutely the most beautiful thing that I've ever heard. And so that's why that one makes the top of my list, because no song, especially Christmas song, has brought out that kind of emotion. Like it actually will make you cry.
Wow.
Because it will blow you away how good it is, because she steps out and just belts it out, hits every note beautifully. And then it's the other kids in the school that are singing in the background that are doing like the harmony. And it's just an amazing video, and I recommend you go check it out right now.
Wow, I am impressed. I will check that out. So it's Kaylee with a K?
Kaylee Rogers, yes. If you look up Kaylee it's Kaylee Rogers, as spelled the same way as Aaron Rodgers does. Two
then I might have
very
to pass.
different people. Yeah. So
check
it out.
Cool
Pete, can
choice.
I say,
you are correct. I do not have that one.
And I don't either. I love that song. I'm not familiar with her version of it, but I've never considered that a Christmas song. But
I think there's. I think.
Oh,
sorry,
good point. I don't either.
But there are 2 separate versions of the song, and one is specifically, about the birth of Christ, and it's the lyrics are different, but it's the same song.
Well, I've heard there's like 43 different verses to that song over the years.
That could be. Yeah.
But that song, and I prefer of all the ones I've heard, I prefer Leonard Cohen's version of it. It's just haunting. It's so beautiful. I don't know why, but I generally get choked up listening to it. I can't explain why. I love that song. It's goosebumpable, if you will.
Goosebumpable. I'm gonna have a couple of those coming up.
I like that you included it, Pete. Because I love that song, and I'll have to listen to her version.
What a great start, guys.
Yep.
Yes.
All right, let us down, Brad.
No, I don't think
this is sort of like fantasy football draft kind of.
Right, it is.
So for my track one, I kind of did what Gifford did with a song that fits the beginning of the season in the album. And I think we all know one of my favorite things about Christmas to watch every year, not a movie, but what do I watch every year? What do you guys know that I love? We
Planes,
talked about
Trains,
it.
and Automobiles?
No. We talked about it on Halloween. It's not a movie.
Oh.
Charlie Brown.
Thank you, Gifford. Holy cow. Charlie Brown for the nostalgia. And so I picked Christmas Time Is Here by Vince Guaraldi from the Charlie Brown Christmas soundtrack. I felt like that was the perfect starter. There was no way I could make this list without having at least one song from that album on there. And I could have picked all 10, but this is the only one. But it gives you that good vibe right away. The kids choir is great. It brings me the nostalgia and those feels right away. And it's Christmas Time Is Here. What a better way to begin the playlist with that.
And we have our first match because I also have that on my list.
What number?
5. At number 5.
Okay.
Well, I'm sorry to say we do not have our first trifecta from track one, so I don't have that one on my list. But I had a very, very nice pick there.
All right, good job, Pete. Pete, why did you pick it? What can you say about it?
Well, a lot of the same reasons that you've already said. It's just a beautiful song, and it's the kids singing it, which is kind of what Christmas is all about. It's like the children getting excited for Christmas, and then it all kind of that special, I guess, comes together with that song, and it's beautifully done.
All right.
There was actually the other song from the same thing that I could have also had, the piano.
Yeah, there's the instrumental version and the vocal version.
Right. But yeah, I don't know. I just love it too.
Yeah. I still remember I was in college when the CD, obviously it must have been out, but like it was really taken off. Like the show was big, but like I remember going to the Mall of America and seeing a display with that album on it, and I couldn't wait to go buy it, and I'll listen to it every year since. All right, we're up to track 2. Giff, what you got now?
Well, the first one, it's Most Wonderful Time of the Year, so we'll go with an It's song again, and it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas from Perry Como, the Fontaine Sisters with Mitchell Ayers and his orchestra from 1951.
Nice.
Oddly enough, the original title for this song, It's Beginning to Look Like Christmas. This song was also released in 51 by Bing Crosby, but the Perry Como version of it is the one that I always go to. And as of 2020, there's been over 128 million Spotify streams of this song. So that kicks off, that's number 2 on my playlist.
Great choice. I originally had the first Christmas CD I ever bought was the Bing Crosby one, so I know it first from there. Mm-hmm. But I also prefer the Perry Como one is the one you hear on the radio all the time. Never get sick of it. Great choice. Yep. It's not on my list, but it's one of those it's in my list that I had to cut out.
Right.
Anything on that one, Pete? Do you have it?
No, it was not on my top 10 list. No.
Okay. Let's go to your track 2 then.
All right. In keeping with Gifford's theme of the It's songs, I'm gonna.
That's a great theme, by the way.
Yeah, I'm going to go with my number 2 is It's Cold Outside, which is the most stupidly controversial song on all of the lists, because there's all the controversy now with the Me Too movement, which I am in support of, by the way. But I think they go a little too far when they protest this song, because it's like there is the verse where she goes, hey, what's in this drink? Because people think it's Bill Cosby and they think they're slipping her a Mickey, right? But come on. I mean, it's about it's the cat and mouse fun of the song, and it's that she's gradually falling in love with him, and that's what it's all about. It's like, it just means that she's implying that the drink is stronger than what it is, probably with, it's a mixed drink, so it's like alcohol or whatever. It's not like he's like trying to drug her or anything like that. It's she's falling in love. That's the whole point. I'm just saying, I'm defending the song, and I will defend that song to my grave if I need to.
Is the version you're going with the Will Ferrell and Dashanell version from Elf?
Which version is it?
That's a good version. Well, I don't know. The Dean Martin one, right?
Yes, okay.
Yeah, that's the one.
But all of them are that would be the king of the hill on them. But so many good versions of it. I do actually think that that it plays into one of the great classic a newer Saturday Night Live skit. Actually, it's the Jimmy Fallon and Cecily Strong version of it, which is awesome. It's one of the. It was an instant classic when I saw the skit. It's a more modern version of it, and it's funny the way they do it and everything. If you haven't seen that, you should go watch it. But that is my number 2 song on my list.
All right.
Anybody else have that? I'm pretty sure Brad must have had.
Well, hang on now. So we almost had
maybe not
what they call a bingo, which is not only all 3 the same, but in the same spot. My number 2, Baby It's Cold Outside.
There we go.
And it's definitely the Dean Martin version because, first of all, I think there's a lot of really crappy versions of this song that I've heard.
That's true.
Some newer ones that people have recorded. They are bad.
Well, everybody has a Christmas album, so there's, but there's only so many Christmas songs.
But
so, yes.
The Dean Martin one it's fantastic. So he is one of my favorite artists of all time, as I already said. I love the Rat Pack, and he's my guy. It's easily the best rendition of the song, and it actually, so I think it's fun, like you, Pete. It actually won an Academy Award. Did you know that, from the movie that it was in back in 1950?
What movie?
For best song. I forgot. I didn't write that part down.
Oh.
But
all right.
I have done some research because, it was about 2 years ago when the song started to get the controversy. And I get it. I mean, I'm with you. I'm in favor of Me Too. I'm out there. But it's an old song. And the thing is, though, that I've read, the line specifically, hey, what's in this drink? That was a line, and I should have looked it up to get it down just right. But that was a line that women at that time would say kind of as a joke. To and they used it actually more as I don't know if it was empowerment or something. But there is a story behind that line at that time where women would use it, and it wasn't about Bill Cosby and, the other stuff. Right. And nothing in the song bad happens, and he's not doing anything bad to her. He wants her to stay, but she's going to leave if she wants to leave. And so I just love that song. I always loved it before the controversy, and so now it's like, oh, God, I can't like it anymore. But you know what? I do. I don't care.
Yeah, if you love it.
And lots of people do, and let's just have fun with it. And I'll admit that, yes, if she wants to go home, she can go home, but we can still enjoy the song until she decides that it's really time to go home.
Right. Now, who's the female? Do you know in that song?
I have never actually seen that. I've never seen that it's actually named. I mean, I'm sure she's named somewhere, but it's always just listed as Dean Martin.
Just Dean Martin. That's it.
Because it's so toxic masculinity. Because
Dean Martin and woman.
All right. Anyway, I think hopefully that's as controversial as we get tonight. So,
Gifford, was that on your list at all?
No, it wasn't.
I thought I had one.
The thing about
no trifecta.
There's so many great Christmas songs.
Yeah,
that this was one that was hard for me to not have on there, but I did end up cutting it. So.
I tell you what, I almost didn't put it on my list because, I mean, is it really a Christmas song? I mean, it's a winter song, and they play it on all the Christmas stations.
It is, though.
Oh, no, I would put it...
I know, but I'm saying if you wanted to avoid the controversy, you could just say, well, that's not really a Christmas song anyway, so I'll just leave it off. So I considered that, but it's one that I've loved for 30 years or however long since I very first heard it. So
sure. I'm not going to shy away from the controversy.
All right, Pete, we've already got 2 crossovers. That's pretty impressive. I wonder if Gifford's ever going to join in the fun here.
Oh, I think so.
What is your track 3?
My track. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we're.
I was kicking it off for you by saying it's.
Oh, it's yeah, right. No, I stop with the it's on this one. So for the second time tonight, Brian has picked the Christmas song for my track 3. But I picked the Nat King Cole version from 1961. So Nat King Cole actually did 4 recordings of this, starting in 46. But the 4th recording was from 61. That's the one I picked. It's the one you hear the most. It's the first one that was recorded in stereo. It was written by Robert Wells and Mel Torme. And one of the interesting little things I did was the 46 version was inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame in 74. But I went with the 61 version for my playlist.
Just want to call out Mel Torme. That's a Night Court reference. So go ahead. Mel Torme was in a number of episodes of Night Court, and he was Harry's favorite artist.
Yeah,
he always talked. He had a picture of Mel Torme in his office. Anyway, go on.
The Christmas song was probably the hardest cut of the whole thing for me. I can't believe it's not on my list. Nat King Cole to me is Christmas music. He is the go-to, the most perfect voice. I actually picked a different one I'll get to later by him, but the Christmas song is it's crazy. It's crazy that it's not on my list, but again, that shows you how much I love Christmas music and how many great songs there are. Pete, is it on yours?
It's not on my top 10. No.
Oh my God. I've got 3 original songs here. Wow.
Are we ready for my number 3 now?
Yeah, go ahead.
And Brad, I'm sure that you have this one on your list as well. You love it, and I love this song too. It's in one of our favorite movies, probably our favorite Christmas movie of all time, of course, Christmas Vacation. It's the Ray Charles song "Spirit of Christmas." It's I like it because it is the emotional part of the movie where it does kind of take you back and you remember the days when you were a kid, and alongside that song, it's just beautiful. And there's a lot of Ray Charles songs that I love, and that's certainly on one of them. So that's my number 3.
And I do have that again, Pete. So you are correct. It is not a same number though this time. It is my track 5. Okay. And I just wrote, duh, it's Christmas Vacation. It's my favorite scene maybe of any movie of all time. I mean, How could I not have it on there? But for me, the interesting thing is this is not a Christmas song I grew up with. I mean, outside of that movie,
right?
I never heard it. It doesn't seem like it's usually played. It's much lesser known than so many others. And then on top of that,
you even had trouble finding it.
Well, let me finish.
Buy it, right? So.
On top of that, once I realized, we got Apple iTunes now, and I can just go add songs anytime I want. I started looking for it. You cannot get it on anything. And so I ended up it was 2 years. Was it last year? I don't know. Last year or the year before, my wife was finally like, you got to have this song. And she found the Christmas Vacation soundtrack on CD on eBay. And I paid $35 or something for it. It was the only one available. So I'm surprised it didn't cost more. And I'm like, I want that song. It's $35. I got to have it. And, having the rest of that soundtrack is not a bad thing anyway. It was kind of cool to own it. But I bought it because of that song and because I couldn't find it anywhere else. And in the movie, all it is him with his nostalgia, watching those old videos. And it's like, and most people that know me have said, that could be you. That reminds me of you. That's what Dave, our other host, has said before. And so I put it at number 5, right in the middle of my old playlist. And thank you, Ray Charles. It's wonderful.
Wow.
Do we have a trifecta?
We do not.
Oh my God, I thought this one would be a for sure.
So when I started writing down my songs, this was one that I wrote down. But as I went through, so I think the one reason I didn't include it was just because you don't hear it on airplay as much. So
right.
But that song, that scene is iconic for me as well. I had an uncle who had the old video camera with the huge light. So they're silent movies. And so I'm in a bunch of those somewhere. Uncle Don has got them, and I would love to watch them. And that's such a great song. But no, it did not make my 10.
Wow. Okay, so still no trifectas, but me and Pete have 3 of the 4.
Seems to us like Gifford's an idiot.
Well,
Seems to me like I'm original.
no, actually, Gifford's list is great, so I got no complaints.
It is
surprised.
Well, and everybody's list is going to be great. It's 10 songs. You only get to pick 10 for crying out loud.
All right, so we're up to my track 3 now.
Yeah.
And so, in baseball, you put the big hitter at number 3, your Kirby Puckett's at number 3. So I wanted to pick a big Christmas song, a big Christmas rock song that I love, that it's in tons of movies, and the second I hear it, I love it. And there's actually 2 great versions that I love, and it's Christmas, Baby Please Come Home. And the old Darlene Love version is probably the best and the one that most people would know right away. It's a jazzy and fun song. I think of a movie montage the second it comes on. Like I don't even know which movie, but that's what I think of right away. In December 2010, Rolling Stone magazine ranked Christmas Baby Please Come Home first on its list of the greatest rock and roll Christmas songs. So,
wow.
And then the other version, and speaking of playlist wars, they will appreciate this. The other version that I absolutely love and have known for many years is by U2. And the reason why they will like that is because they did an episode on U2, and Brian, the host, actually picked this Christmas song as one of his 10 U2 songs, and the other guys thought that was ridiculous. And so it's basically been their Park and Rec running joke like we have with Pete.
Jesus.
But but it is a great song, and both of those versions are fantastic. And so that is my number 3.
Cool. I like it.
Anybody else have that one?
It is not on my list.
Okay.
Pete?
Nope.
And we are back to you for number 4, Giff.
All right. Sticking with the old standards. My number 4 from 1942, White Christmas by Bing Crosby. Written by Irving Berlin for the musical Holiday Inn. This won the Oscar for Best Original Song at the 15th Academy Awards. And what this song did, from my research, is that it established that you could have a commercially successful secular Christmas song. So it's estimated to have 50 million copies sold just of this version of the song. So White Christmas at number 4 for me.
Interesting.
Any takers on that one? Oh,
we have a match in the same spot.
Oh, wow. You have it at number 4 as well?
I do.
Oh. Why did you pick it? No, Pete's got to talk first.
I actually had seen the movie. I saw the movie for the first, I've heard the song a million times, but I only saw the movie for the first time 2 years ago. Yeah, I think that was the year that I broke my rib, which is 2 years ago, if I remember right.
Marilyn Manson situation,
day, I think. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, that will be on the Patreon.
Wow.
We'll go into detail there. But I don't know. It's just one of those songs that you always hear, and it just makes you think of a white Christmas. I don't know. It's just something great about it.
That it does.
I don't know. I don't have much to add.
Okay. Well, I am taking the role of Gifford this time. We don't have a bingo, and we don't even have a trifecta. I do not have it. It was another hard one to cut because it is it's iconic, of course.
Right.
And again, the very first Christmas CD I ever bought was Bing Crosby. So, I mean, there it is. But when I went through my list, it just didn't quite make it. The one that I did originally want to add, actually, the version I like better is the jazzy Clyde McPhatter and the Drifters Motown-y version, which is in Home Alone.
Oh, yeah.
I love that version because it's way different, and so I like it when they take a song like that and they give you a different, feel for it. So I love that song. I love both those versions, but it just could not make my cut. But you know what, Gifford? What I just realized, the fact that we don't have any crossovers. See, you're giving me all these great options for honorable mentions later
right.
on. So.
That's my job. Yeah,
right.
Just to give you guys options.
This will be really amazing if we have no trifectas. If we get through the entire list with no trifectas.
It's going to be, I don't know if there's.
Looking at my list, I'm starting to think we may not. So, all right, for track 5, I had The Spirit of Christmas, and Pete had Christmas Time Is Here. So we've already discussed those. So we will go to Gifford, and then we will be done with track 5. What is your track 5, Giff?
My track 5 from 1957, Chairman of the Board, Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. So this was
solid.
This was originally in 1944's musical Meet Me in St. Louis. And recently it's had #1 U.S. adult contemporary hits, #1 hits for Groban and Legend, but I always go back to the Sinatra version.
Pete, do you have that one on your list?
Nope.
Oh my God. I thought we were going to get one because I do. I thought that was going to be the one. So I have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas at 6. So a different slot, but right there in the middle too. Now, I actually don't have the Frank Sinatra version as my choice, although this is a song where there's not really a bad version. I mean, that's as good as anything.
Mm-hmm.
This is another one where there's 2 different types of versions. So the slower one, the more traditional one, I like the Carpenters version. That's one that I really like. You hear a lot on the radio. Yep. But actually, the one I really like is Ella Fitzgerald, and that's another one where it's like a jazzy. Mm-hmm. It does not sound like the other versions where it's a slow, sad, kind of somber, Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. I love that song. I love all those versions, but that Ella Fitzgerald one that's why it's in here, because it gives it that extra little kick that I love about it. And so that's the one that I would pick. It is also in the movie The Holiday with
I don't think I've seen
Jude Law and Kate Winslet and Cameron Diaz. And my wife loves that movie, and I like it too. Jack Black is the fourth one. Yeah.
Yep.
So being in that movie also helps, and that's a place where I would hear it and think of it as well. So that is my number 6, and we have a crossover, but no trifecta.
All right.
Sorry.
Does Pete have a 5, or
Pete 5 was Christmas Time Is Here.
Okay. Sorry.
And mine was The Spirit of Christmas. So we are back to you again, Gifford, for 6.
Excellent. 6. So my top half of my playlist was a little bit more traditional, a little slower. Mm-hmm. My second half, now I start to pick it up a little bit.
Ooh, fun.
A little bit more fun, start to tap your toes a little bit more.
You're already getting me going here.
Absolutely. So my number 6 from 1964, Burl Ives, Have a Holly Jolly Christmas.
Nice.
And this is different than the one that was in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer that came out, I believe, the year before. Yeah, it's a little bit slower, and it has a acoustic guitar intro, whereas the one in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, you can kind of hear the elves in the background kind of singing along with it. So yeah, it was written by Johnny Marks, who also wrote Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. So that is my number 6, Have a Holly Jolly Christmas.
Love it. Pete, you got that one?
No, I do not.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I thought
we skipped one of my songs. I totally screwed up on our list here, so we got to go back in a second.
Jesus, we're gonna have to re-record this whole episode.
I know. I thought I was having a lot in a row there, but whatever.
Totally my fault. I do not have it either, but it's another one. You're naming basically every song that I didn't name that I have typed up because.
Well, good. I'm your whole honorable mention list. Then.
Speaking of Rudolph, one of my favorites. I mentioned it even earlier. I got the onesie, the Bumble. It matches with my daughter. We had fun one night wearing them, but I did not make it on my list, but I love it.
All
right. So we got to back up. I totally blew it. This is why we're not the professionals like Playlist Wars.
Sure.
So my number 4, neither of you caught. I never said my number 4.
Okay.
My number 4 is a more modern song. It is by the Smashing Pumpkins, and it is called Christmas Time. And it was on a very special Christmas in the 90s CD, which had a lot of great Christmas songs. I think actually the U2 song was also on the exact same album. But if you don't know this song, I really want you to go listen to it after this, because you might think of the Smashing Pumpkins and think of one thing. This is one of the prettiest Christmas songs you will ever hear. It's beautiful.
Really?
And it fits my love of 90s music, and finding lesser known songs by bands that I like, because obviously this isn't, one of their big songs unless you're really into Christmas music like me. And it's just beautiful. I don't know what else to say about it. But I love it because, again, it's a band I love. It's from an era I love. And so it fits into my list. And if you haven't heard it, I will go listen to Hallelujah. You go listen to Christmas Time by the Smashing Pumpkins.
Done. I'll have to write that down.
Okay. So that was my number 4.
I did not have that one on my list.
Yeah, I figured.
I think we were on me at number 6, right?
Yeah, we're on your number 6 right now. We're back on track here.
Now, we've talked plenty about the chairman of the board. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about the king. Having been to, I went to see Graceland a little earlier this year. Actually, we went down to Memphis, but we didn't actually take the tour of Graceland because it would have been too much time out of our day and very expensive. But we drove past it. Does that count? Sure. We also stopped at Sun Studios where basically gave Elvis his start, and so I'm going to throw Blue Christmas on there. That was what I had on my number 6. It's, the background vocals are actually a little annoying, but I just think it's a great song.
I love it too.
I do as well.
There you go.
Not enough to put it in my top 10, but nope. Yeah, I love it too.
It's another one. I considered it actually, and the reason why I love this song, I have a very specific memory. So in 1991, we went to Disney World for the first time. Our whole family went. We were all older. I was a sophomore in high school, and I was the youngest one. And, Disneyland is all decked out for Christmas. We went in the week before Christmas, by the way. And so you hear Christmas music all over the place. And that's one of the songs I just heard nonstop. And I was still, relatively young. And so Christmas music hadn't maybe exploded quite yet at that time like it is now. And the two songs that I kept hearing over and over, and I still love to this day, are that one and the Santa Claus is Coming to Town by Bruce Springsteen.
Oh, sure.
Which also didn't make my list, but it was this close too. I love that version. It's so fun and so great. And so those two didn't make my list, but I love your choice, and they were right there. Excellent. I might even make that my honorable mention. Right, that might be, depending on what happens, that might end up, I don't know.
All right.
So my number 6 was Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas.
Yep.
So now we are on to track 7 and back again to Gifford.
All right. We're keeping the toes tapping with my number 7. We got Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree by Brenda Lee in 1958. So by 2008, over 25 million copies of this song were sold, and it has the 4th most digital downloads of a Christmas single. Weirdly enough, this was also written by Johnny Marks, who wrote my previous song, Have a Holly Jolly Christmas. And Lee was only 13 years old when she recorded this song.
Well, that is a factor I did not know. Wow.
Yeah. So that's my number 7.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I thought that was again with new ears.
Yeah.
I do not have that one on my list, but I do think of that song every time because it's on the Time Life album that we listen to a lot, and I always think of Home Alone with that song too, because that's the song he plays while he's got all the fake people to scare them away. Yep. So, another good choice.
Pete,
do you have that one?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Then your track 7.
My number 7 is also from the movie White Christmas. It's "I'll Be Home for Christmas" by Bing Crosby. I like it because it was written. He's in the war, and it's actually kind of a sad song because he's over fighting in the war, and he's just dreaming about what Christmas is like back home, and imagining himself back, seeing the wreath on the door and all of that kind of stuff. And so it's just kind of a sad, emotional song, but I just absolutely love it. So that's my number 7.
I love it as well. I do not have it on my list, but you guys are you're basically naming every song I didn't pick that I considered.
Right. And I would say the same thing. Great song, Pete, but I don't have it.
And that's another one. It's kind of like Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, where there's all kinds of good versions. It's kind of that sad, feel though to it, but it's still, you just love it.
Mhm.
All right, for track 7 for me, this one is this is one of those songs where if it's on, I called it a Desperado song. You know what I'm referencing?
Oh, yep. Elaine's boyfriend.
There you go. In Seinfeld, Elaine, the song.
Right.
When Desperado's on and he will not let her speak.
Hey, can we listen to Witchy
songs,
Woman?
Yeah.
Witchy
Woman.
There are songs like that for me, and this is one of those Christmas songs, and it is by the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and it is Christmas Canon.
Yes.
So they've got a couple of really big, good ones. Christmas Eve, Sarajevo is probably their big one, and they're just like they're an orchestra, but my God, they rock. Like that song is hardcore.
Yeah.
And I love that too. But Christmas Canon, I don't even know where to start. The first time I heard this song, I was like, this might be my favorite song of all time. I've always loved the song Canon in D. It's one of those songs people learn and play on the piano, and then you play it at weddings. My wife walked down the aisle, so my number 6 was a song she would like from a movie she likes. Now we've got the song she walked down the aisle to. It's got the big, huge orchestra sounds, but then there's also the children's choir that sings along with it. And then it integrates lyrics into the music so well. And it's a basic, they do mashups again, basically. And it could be the prettiest song I've ever heard. You said goosebumpable. This is my Goosebumps song right here. I will not change it if it's on. I will search it out. If I haven't heard it for a while in December, I will search it out and play this one in particular. And I guess what I would say here too is if for some reason you don't know the song I'm talking about, go listen to it right now. Gifford, you do apparently, thankfully.
Yeah, it's very good. Well, like you say, they've got a lot of bangers.
Yeah, they got bangers, baby.
But that's a very good one. Yeah,
they're like it's like the Mannheim Steamroller. They're the other big one, but
I always get those two bands mixed up.
Yeah, but this one I think they're better, and this song is just because this one it's they've got the big sounds, but it's much more sweet and pretty too, unlike some of the big like pounders like the Christmas Eve song. So
yes.
Anybody else have that one?
I did not, sadly. No.
Okay. I'm just happy that you knew right away what I was talking about because you never know. All right, track 8, Gifford.
Track 8, 1957 from Bobby Helms, Jingle Bell Rock. This one has peaked at number 3 as late as 2020 in the Hot 100. Again, nice little toe tapper for me. I just love this song, so I put it in at number 8.
And I always think of what movie when that song is on.
Oh God, I always go back and forth. It's
you gotta be kidding me. I knew you'd get it.
It's Lethal Weapon, right?
No. Well, maybe, but that's not. It's Mean Girls.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Mean Girls.
I think it's also Lethal Weapon.
Maybe it is. I do not have that one on my list. Not a huge fan of that song. That's the first one you've named that wasn't on my other songs list.
Well,
but it's a classic. I get it.
It is.
Pete, is it on yours?
No, it is not.
All right, then. What's your track 8, Pete?
My track 8 is not technically a Christmas song, but it is the Hanukkah song by Adam Sandler.
Oh,
nice. I had a couple because I made a list of a few novelty songs. This was one that stood out that I had to have on my list. I don't know. I just love it. It was the first one that I can remember of that type by Adam Sandler. I can't remember if he did the Turkey song before that, like in that same season before that, or if it came later, but it was the Hanukkah song. I just love it. And he's made a bigger deal out of it, which is actually kind of dumb because I like the simplicity of just being on a Weekend Update and playing it. Makes me laugh every time. And how he just kind of goes through the names. It's on my list.
Rod Carew is included in that song.
Rod Carew, absolutely.
An inspired choice. I do not have that one.
No,
I didn't think you would. You got to think outside the box.
So we're moving on then?
Yes.
Okay. My number 8, I'm sure, is not going to be a crossover. I don't know if you'll know this one or not, but this is a song. So I've got kind of a theme going here: 6, 7, and 8 songs that tie into my wife, the love of my life. So this is a song that we heard on the radio once, and we kind of just started laughing because the lyrics are kind of corny, and it's just kind of like, what is this? And the more we hear it, though, the more we just kept falling in love with it. And the name of the song is "Same Old Lang Syne" by Dan Fogelberg. And it was a little gem we discovered. So in fact, what happens is quite often, if one of us hears it, like when we're not together, we will text the other one and say that it's on or mention it because that's how much we both love it so much. But it's about two old lovers who meet in a grocery store on Christmas Eve, and they end up drinking together in their car. And that's really all it is. And it's just, but like, so it's kind of weird at first, and you don't expect it. But the more you keep hearing it, it just grows on you and it grows on you. And it's a very, very pretty song again. I'm sure you'd like it. And so it's kind of a sad song because it's about these old lovers and that, they're not with somebody else on Christmas Eve, apparently. But it's very special for me and my wife, and we love it. So I'd recommend checking that one out too.
All right.
Same Old Lang Syne.
Writing it down. All right.
And actually what we will do, I'm sure we'll type these up and make these lists available to our listener out there.
Yeah.
If he or she wants to go and check them out.
Excellent.
All right.
Great idea.
Track 9, GIF.
All right. My track 9. All I Want for Christmas Is You.
Is You.
But not the Mariah Carey version. It is, in fact, the Olivia Olson version from 2003's Love Actually.
I love it. I love that you changed it up.
I love that scene. I love Sam's face when she turns around and points at him, and his eyes, his whole face just lights up. I start to tear up. I love the
But then she goes away and he gets all mad.
Then he gets mad. But when she points at him the first time, and when Daniel's in the audience and looks at him and puts the one finger up, and he puts the one finger up like that's the girl, and then those 4 boys that are out dancing as the dancers. I love that scene of that movie. I love the whole movie, let's be honest. But so
more to come on that next week.
Yeah, so that is my number 9. Not the Mariah Carey version from '94, but Olivia Olson's version from Love Actually.
I love it.
I was a little shocked when you started saying that because I think the Mariah Carey one is annoying as hell. But
well, because you hear it all the time. I mean, it's yeah.
This is probably going to shock you because I am not a Mariah Carey fan, basically in any way. But I like that song, and I'll listen to her song every year. Something about it. It's one of those little earworms, and you just can't get rid of it. And I actually like it.
That's why it's annoying as hell, because it's an
part of the reason, though, that I think I do appreciate it and accept liking it is because of that movie and because I love that movie so much. And that's really where I really learned the song for the most part. And so I can't hate it just because I love that movie so much. So
yeah,
I love that you picked that version.
Thank you.
But it didn't make my list either, but it was a cut. It was one that I listed.
Was it the Mariah Carey version or?
Well, it was, but I could go either way. So.
Okay.
All right, Pete, track 9.
I think that we are going to just have to give Bing Crosby a Lifetime Achievement Award for all Christmas songs, because my next one is another Bing Crosby one, Silver Bells. It's, they play it. It's fun to listen to when talking about how the shoppers have are carrying their treasures or whatever the lyric is. And
yep.
I did not nail that, but he creates
you didn't say
visual the way
Paul or call it
right or Park and Rec or whatever, but you know what I mean. And the way that he just creates that visual and sets up the scene in the song, it's a beautiful song. Love it.
It is.
I also love that song. I don't know that would be the version I'd pick. There's so many versions, and there's so many that I think I would love that I'd have to look at them to really remember which one I love the most. But I do love that song, and so I love that choice. Gifford, you got that one?
I do not have that one.
Okay, well, unless we all match on our track 10, there will be no trifectas.
We're not going to match on our top
Okay.
10. I can
I
guarantee
doubt
you that.
All right, my number 9 is again a song that has a couple of really good versions. It is "Please Come Home for Christmas," and I generally pick the Eagles version. I love the Eagles version. It is just I love it. It's so good. It's so bluesy. I love the blues feel of it, and it just because of that, it gives you the emotions. And it's it's kind of sad, but it's not sad. Like it makes you feel good. The other version that I love is by Charles Brown, who's another guy that I would have to give kind of an honorary note to here, because he's one of those guys back like Darlene Love and some of the older ones we've mentioned. So he does a great version of this. He's got a fantastic voice. The other one that I had on my list originally and took off is "Merry Christmas, Baby," which he sings a great. And there's also a great rendition of that by Otis Redding that I love too. So there's the two good ones there. So Charles Brown's great, but the Eagles is probably, if I had to pick one, that's the one I picked. And it hits you right away. It plays the bells when it comes in, and you know the second the bell rings what song it is. And then Don Henley comes in and says, "Bells will be ringing." I love that song. It's really creeped up my list of favorites over the last couple of years.
Excellent.
All right. Maybe by next year when we do this, it'll be on top. Gifford.
Right.
Gifford, track 10, your last one.
Round it
well,
out.
I know we don't have a bingo on 10 because you said you don't have it on your list already. So my track 10 was first recorded in 1934, has been re-recorded by over 200 artists.
I know what you're going to say.
My favorite version of the song, it's my favorite Christmas song. I like to end an album with feeling good and on a high note. It's "Santa Claus Is Coming to Town" by the Pointer Sisters in 1987.
The Pointer
Sisters. I would have gone with the one that's in Christmas Vacation. Where the police.
That's Here Comes Santa Claus.
Santa Claus.
That's a different song.
Yeah.
Was I thinking?
Yes, you're thinking of "Here Comes Santa Claus."
If you're talking about the first one that comes right up is Elf, Zooey Deschanel, and everybody at the end of Elf. That's the version from.
That's what I was thinking of. Okay.
No, see, for me, this is the version I always love. It's really comparable to Bruce Springsteen's. It starts with a little bit of talking in the beginning, a little laughing. But those women absolutely kill that song. I love that song, so that is my number 10.
I got to say, I don't even know if I know that version, and the fact that it's a Pointer Sisters makes me nervous. I can't believe I'd like it that much, but I'll check it out.
Please do. It's my favorite Christmas song.
All right, Pete, what are you going to close out with?
My number 10 is not by Bing Crosby, but it would be amazing if he did this one. It's, again, thinking outside the box, and it's my second Saturday Night Live one. I would have to put explicit lyrics if I said the actual name of the title, but I'll just say it's "Cut a Hole in the Box."
Oh, my God.
Step one.
Justin Timberlake and Andy Samberg. I love this. It's actually a good song. I enjoy the song, and the video is hilarious. And so I put it on my top 10 list.
I would have never thought of that.
Well produced. See, you got to think outside the box. It is, though.
It is set at Christmas, isn't it?
Yeah. It's totally a Christmas song.
It is.
You are definitely pulling in some good choices there that are unique, Pete.
That's the point of the show.
All right. Well, I went completely the opposite of you guys on how I ended it. I wanted my traditional song to end it, and my all-time favorite Christmas song, especially of the traditional variety, is "Oh Holy Night." I never not loved this song from the time I was like 5 years old. There are so many great versions. The version that I would put on here is Nat King Cole. That's why I said way back at the beginning he was coming. I put him here. You could put this song on. It's such a great way to end things. What it does, it makes me think of like, okay, Christmas is done. You're sitting by the fire late at night. The kids are in bed. You're just relaxing. You just put on that background music, and you can just listen to it, and it just can keep you so calm. It's the greatest song. I also love the Andy Williams version. There's a Harry Connick version. I'm a big fan of Jewel. She's got a beautiful version.
There's the Hummel version.
And shut up.
Pete, Brad's the only one who's allowed to interrupt. So
I didn't think quiet. That you were gonna.
You're right. You're right. You're right. You got me there. In church, when we were in high school, our great friend Ryan Hummel and his brother Eric would sing this on Christmas Eve, and they sang it like 2 or 3 years in a row. And I got to tell you, it was just fantastic. They were so good, and everybody just loved it. And I love Christmas Eve church. I mean, this is just the perfect closer for me because I love Christmas. I've loved everything about it. I don't go to church every week anymore or anything like that, but that's what I love about it. So that's my closer. Oh, Holy Night.
It's a really difficult song to sing, by the way. And so kudos to anybody that can sing that song. I mean, you have to be a really great singer to sing that song. And you're absolutely right. In fact, I did have that one listed in my notes.
I thought you might have it.
The Hummel Brothers version is what I had written down, but it didn't crack my final top 10. But no reason it couldn't have.
And for those who don't know, Hummel is the drummer in our intro and outro music band of Preacher Row. So
Preacher Row,
great one-time drummer. They've gone through a few lineup changes, but he's our drummer.
He's he's the pool boy drummer that we all know.
He's the drummer of my life.
He's like Dave Grohl, though. He can drum and he can sing. He can sing Christmas standards and he can do it all. So
I did not make that comparison before.
Yep.
I'll allow that comparison because Hummel once referred to me as the White Will Smith. So if you want to refer to him as Dave Grohl, I'm up for it.
That closes out our playlist. That brings us to our honorable mentions. I hope you guys are ready.
Yeah.
With your honorable mention choice. So Gifford, what did you pick?
I picked Baby It's Cold Outside.
Oh, nice. So we kind of have an honorable trifecta then.
Right. I love that song. And then
sexist.
You also tie it in with our other pick this month with the Elf version. I love that scene in the movie where she's in the shower singing and he's sitting on the counter, just kind of, lightly singing along. So that would be the one. That would be my honorable mention.
All right. So we can both take credit for that one then.
Yeah.
Pete, which one are you going to choose?
For me, it's a slam dunk, and I kind of hate myself for not even having it in my top 10. But it is the Christmas song by Nat King Cole. It really should be right at the top of any Christmas list. No doubt.
And as far as traditional Christmas songs go, that's my favorite, like old time, all time, like traditional Christmas song.
Yes.
And we have another honorable trifecta because I kind of went back and forth here. Blue Christmas would have been fun. I love I'll Be Home for Christmas, The Most Wonderful Time. All those are so great. But, I mean, I got to pick the Christmas song, too. You can't. And it's got to be the Nat King Cole version for me. So we all did come to look at that. We got 2 trifectas by adding in the honorable mention.
Well, and technically that'd be a quattro, wouldn't it?
Well, that's true. Including Brian Colburn.
Yeah.
I guess.
Look at that. Although he picked Frank Sinatra, but it's close enough.
He did.
Yeah.
All right. So how about we?
You can't argue with Frank Sinatra as a pick.
No, he'll kill you.
He will.
He'll end up in a hole in Vegas, out in the desert.
All right. How about we run through our lists one time so people can put them together? Gifford, do you want to read yours?
Sure thing. We're going to start off with It's the Most Wonderful Time of the Year, followed by It's Beginning to Look a Lot Like Christmas. Number 3, The Christmas Song, Nat King Cole's version. Number 4, White Christmas by Bing Crosby. Number 5, Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas by Sinatra. 6, Have a Holly Jolly Christmas, Burl Ives. Number 7, Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree by Brenda Lee. Number 8, Jingle Bell Rock, Bobby Helms. Number 9, All I Want for Christmas Is You, but from Love Actually. And number 10, The Pointer Sisters, Santa Claus is Coming to Town.
And your honorable mention?
Right. My honorable mention was Baby It's Cold Outside by Dean Martin.
Fantastic list. Pete, you're up.
My number one was Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah, Halloween, as sung by Kaylee Rogers. Number two, It's Cold Outside, Dean Martin version. Number three, The Spirit of Christmas by Ray Charles. Number four, White Christmas. Number five, Christmas Time is Here in the Charlie Brown show. And number six, Blue Christmas by Elvis Presley. Number seven was I'll Be Home for Christmas by Bing Crosby. Number eight, The Hanukkah Song by Adam Sandler. Number nine was Silver Bells by Bing Crosby. And rounding out the list, Cut a Hole in the Box by Justin Timberlake and Andy Samberg. And or actually not number, but the honorable mention was The Christmas Song by Nat King Cole.
All right. My list. Number one, Christmas Time is Here by Vince Guaraldi from Charlie Brown Show, as Pete said. Track two.
It's the Charlie Brown Show.
Track two, Baby It's Cold Outside, Dean Martin version. Track three, Christmas Baby Please Come Home, Take Your Pick, Darlene Love or U2. Track four, Christmas Time by the Smashing Pumpkins. Track five, The Spirit of Christmas by Ray Charles. Track six, Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas by Ella Fitzgerald. Track seven, Christmas Canon by the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Track eight, Same Old Lang Syne by Dan Fogelberg. Track nine, Please Come Home for Christmas by the Eagles or Charles Brown. Track 10, Oh Holy Night by Nat King Cole or one of 100 other great versions. And honorable mention, the Christmas song, Nat King Cole.
Wow. A lot of great stuff on there.
Yeah. So any other songs that we didn't say you guys got in front of you that you want to name quick? I got a few more.
Yes, I do.
I had Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer by Harry Connick Jr.
I also prefer the Dean Martin version of that.
Yeah.
But Harry Connick's good too.
Malika Maka is a wise way. That was on my list of non-traditional songs. Last Christmas is one that is also kind of an earworm and it's a little annoying, but it's on my.
That is one
I'm there.
So glad to realize now that you guys didn't put on your list because I was sure either one or both of you would, and I'm going to mention that in my last little list coming up here.
Yeah, Feliz Navidad I had on here written down. This one is kind of annoying. I love Paul McCartney, but Wonderful Christmas Time I did have on my list. It kind of gets stuck in your head, but anyway, Hey Santa Claus, which is in the Christmas Vacation movie.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
And I had Silver and Gold in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Oh, sure.
It's kind of fun. Yeah. And then also You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch. In the novelty section, I did have Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer just because I used to listen to it as a kid and I thought it was funny. Then a couple more from Saturday Night Live that I didn't mention was I Wish It Was Christmas Today by Horatio Sands and the group there. That was a fun one. Do It on My Twin Bed. That was a Christmas one.
Oh, was that a Christmas one too? That is a great song.
Yes. And that's all I have that are worth mentioning.
All right.
One that I love, Carol of the Bells. I like the John Williams version. That was the one that was in Home Alone.
So speaking of Saturday Night Live, there was the Dysfunctional Family Christmas way back in like 1988, and they sang Carol of the Bells, but it was Leave Me Alone, Just Get Away, I'm Doing Fine, Just Get Away. I love that.
Of course, I love the Here Comes Santa Claus by Gene Autry, just so much because of when the cops show up in Christmas Vacation. It makes me laugh every single time I see it. Eartha Kitt, Santa Baby. I like that one.
Very sexy.
Yeah, I like that one. And then of course, Nat King Cole's Deck the Halls. I love that one as well. So Pete covered quite a few that I also had. So Brad,
we've named a lot of them. I got a few others. Some more of the non-traditional ones. The Kinks have a song called Father Christmas that I love. The Ramones sing Merry Christmas, I Don't Want to Fight Tonight. That's a great Ramones song. One of my more modern favorite Christmas albums of all time is by a guy we've discussed, Chris Isaak, who I'm going to see for a holiday concert this week, actually.
Lucky.
Wow. He's got the whole thing's great, but there's a song on there called Washington Square that's one of those really just kind of sad sounding, but just so good song. Casey Musgraves also put out a Christmas album about 5 years ago that is fantastic. All I Want for Christmas Is You. Another version I do like is Michael Bublé. He does a much more, because that's a really rocky song, but he does a very subdued version, and it's a really good one. And he's great. We all love him too, I think.
Yeah.
We didn't mention
like Sinatra. You gotta like, he's right there with those guys.
We didn't mention Happy Holiday, the Andy Williams version. I love. I love Winter Wonderland and Sleigh Ride. There's so many good versions of those. I love the David Bowie, Bing Crosby version of Little Drummer Boy, Peace on Earth. And that's about it for the songs that I didn't name, but that I did have listed that once went through I mentioned Merry Christmas Baby earlier. That's another one too. I also made a short list of songs I cannot stand anymore. Did you guys do that?
I did not.
No, I did not.
Well, let me just run through them quick because Pete already named some of them.
Wonderful Christmas Time, I'm sure, is on there.
Number one is Last Christmas. I can't stand that song. It is the most repetitive in any version. There's so many versions.
Taylor Swift version, Brad. You should like that one.
Hang on.
All right.
My second one, Paul McCartney, Simply Having a Wonderful Christmas Time. That might be the most annoying song ever written. Elton John, Step Into Christmas. Terrible. And the reason why these are so bad is because we listen to Christmas music here starting in November, and before we got branched out into some other stations, we would just listen to Cool 108. My wife would have it on all the time. They would just play those three songs over and over and over again, and it's like, play something else. I mentioned Taylor Swift, Pete. I love Taylor Swift. We're going to do a Taylor Swift episode someday, but she put out a Christmas album when she was really young, and it's horrible. Her versions are terrible. I can't even listen to them. And then Kelly Clarkson is just as bad. She has a song called Underneath the Tree that they play all the time. And it should be titled more like Underneath the Influence of Cocaine, because it sounds like she's on speed. It is just horrible.
Oh, the Grinch has come out. Holy cow.
Here we go.
But see, the reason why I hate those songs is because I love Christmas music so much, and I hear them so much, and not everything Not everything can be great. Those are the ones that if I hear them, Christmas canon, you're not going to drag me away. If one of those is on, you better just get out of the way then.
Right. God.
So,
right.
That's a fun list. I like it.
Thank you.
Is that it?
I think that might do it.
So I think
my favorite Christmas. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, I think next week we're going to get into Love Actually, right?
That's correct.
So Gifford and I have made our feelings clear. We've loved that movie for years. Pete, have you even seen it yet?
I've never seen it.
Oh boy.
I look forward to watching it. I better not be disappointed in how you guys talk it up. But
I can't believe that your wife has. I mean, watch it together here soon.
My wife has never even seen it,
so I know.
I have a note on this movie that I think you'll enjoy, Pete. Once you've seen it, I'm interested to see what you think. So I
cannot wait.
Yeah.
Before we go, let's just once again thank Playlist Wars for allowing us to borrow their format here, and for Brian for sharing his songs. And we love your show, and we hope everybody listening to our show will go check them out too. They've done tons of episodes on all different kinds of topics. So whatever your music taste is, you'll find something that you could start with.
You know what the greatest Christmas song of all time is, Gifford?
Enlighten me.
Standing on My Own 2 Feet by Preacher Row.
Featuring Ryan Hummel.
So let's wrap it up. Don't forget to like us on
wrap it up.
Well, no, because that's not. It's like closing the yearbook. We gotta wait. That's what I was
still
thinking.
Made a pun.
Oh, wrap it. Oh, I get it. Okay. All right. Well,
hey guys, I really liked this episode, so
Yeah,
I hope our listener enjoys it too.
Yes.
That was fun. So be sure, if our listener out there did enjoy it, they should leave a note on Twitter and a review on Apple Podcast reviews or whatever your platform of choice is. And here we go. Let's dance around the Christmas tree to Standing on My Own 2 Feet by Preacher Row.
Feliz Navidad.
Bye.
Have a holly jolly listen.
No one's here to comfort me. Sorry for what I have done. Sorry that your son is gone. 7 steps and it will be my last. Next time, tell me on my plan. I turn and I look to you. I'm scared, but there's nothing